totally ate shit on that sign. Surprised this place isn't under attack. It's always under attack as soon as you land here. Planetary drudge Noko accuses attendant Likeskin of smuggling a vacuum cell past system authorities. It is noted that the accused runs a rival business with considerable success. I'm gonna set him free. He has a reason to lodge that allegation. All right. Light work. Alright. Arsenal, what's up, dude? Yeah, it's been a minute, man. It's been a while. Everything's good, buddy. How about you? Still playing No Man's Sky? Have you played this update? Family's good, brother. I don't know if you celebrate, but happy Easter if you do. If it's even still Easter where you're at.
Extreme night temperature detected.
I got a few thoughts on this update, man. It actually, what I think of the most is Foundation, which I know is going to sound pretty weird, but I've been here the whole ride, dude, and you know, some of the stuff that in Foundation, back when that came out, you know, later in 2016, a few months after release or whatever. It was like, it felt like half thought out features that didn't really make any sense. You know, it was kind of like for example, you had the freighter, but you could only have one ship on it, and you couldn't build anything on the freighter. You know, so it was really just kind of like a thing that you could park somewhere and store stuff in, and one ship. And bases were really kind of like rudimentary, you know what I mean? And so it was kind of like, this is cool, but like, what can I do with it? Like, what does it mean? You know? And then as like Pathfinder came out, and you know, Atlas Rises came out, you started to see kind of how the puzzle pieces of the gameplay kind of fit together into like a kind of a big cohesive sort of thing, you know. And then obviously all of that, you know, got cranked way up when Next dropped. But I feel like Orbital is that, right? Like they basically, with the exception of the pirate stations, they've effectively not dealt with space stations since launch. You know, they mostly look how they've always looked and function mostly how they've always functioned. So just working? Yeah. I feel you on that, dude. I'm dog tired, man. You know, yeah, I mean, dive in whenever you feel like it if you care about any of the features that came with the update, you know. Like I said, man, it just kind of depends on what it means to you, you know, like for example, the shipbuilding. I see like a lot of positive and negative like comments on this sort of out there, you know, in the Twitterverse and all the other areas, right? Like, you know, and I sent Hello Games kind of an email with kind of my idea on how they should slightly improve shipbuilding, but I actually think for the most part it's a pretty complete feature. And here's kind of what I mean by that. Like, the ship hunter type players were worried that, you know, by doing custom shipbuilding that it would somehow eliminate the need or desire or the gameplay value behind you know, hunting ships. But it's really not true. It's not the case, right? Like, it actually, I would argue, in fact, it improves it. So here's what I mean. Okay, so if you go to your starship, right, you've got this like authenticated badge. Okay. So if you custom build a ship, it's not going to have that authenticated badge. Also, there's like considerable time and cost if you're playing the gameplay loop kind of as intended, to get the parts that you need, right? So some players, they might have an idea in their head of the sort of ship that they want to build. And then some players, they may not know, and so they just might be out there kind of willy-nilly scrapping stuff and just collecting a bunch of pieces and, you know, all of that kind of thing. But ultimately, like, you can essentially, with some limitations, custom design a ship you like, you know, with the cockpit and wings you like, and the engine type that you like. And then you can even buy a reactor core that improves its class. But when you custom build a ship, you don't get this authenticated starship, right? Because what makes this authenticated is that this ship is just like this. Okay? You either found it this way, or, you know, you purchased a ship or found a ship, and then over the course of time, you know, millions of units and thousands of nanites went from like a C class to an S class, right? But you did it kind of like the old way, and therefore it's authenticated. Okay? And pretty much like every ship that you have is authenticated. So there is good value in ship hunting for those that make an extra effort to find the perfect ship for them in the wild. And I think there's ways they can improve on the economy on that if they haven't already done so. Like, I haven't, fully dived into the patch notes and played around with the feature all the way, but, like, let's say when you custom build a ship, the value of it is lower because it's not authenticated, which I think is what happens, right? So, let's say that you're a player. You don't have a manufacturing plant that's making you millions of units an hour. You don't have like a process. You're a casual player. You're not out there trying to min-max everything. You just want a cool ship, right? Well, you can go to the Portal repository and all the different communities out there on Discord, Amino, all that kind of stuff, and then you can locate a ship, right? Like, ship hunters might be out there providing a really great database on these ships that you can hunt, or that they've hunted for you that you can just go claim, and then it's just a question of like repairing that crashed ship, or a question of building it up, from purchasing it in a space station, playing the save and reload roulette to kind of get the ship that you want, until eventually, you kind of build like a nice little fleet, a little collection, right? Which is far simpler than if you were to kind of custom build, all 9 of your ships or what have you. So I think it improved the utility and the value, actually, of ship hunting in that sense. They're authenticated. You can find them as they are, right? And then you can just kind of build away with all the recipes and stuff that you have, and kind of go about your day if, building a custom ship is not your thing, right? But, for the players out there, that they want more challenge, they want, more reasons to play the game, to stay on, you know what I mean? Which is a real struggle, especially for players that have kind of been around a long time, like myself, where it's like finding that need to just stay in, right? Like, I've been playing all this time. Like, sometimes I kind of pop in, pop out. Like, there's not a lot keeping me here, for hours on end. So, for a player like me, this is a really interesting mechanic. I can take an old ship that I'm really not into anymore, and I can break it down, or I can go find a ship and break it down and kind of put together some stuff. And I've got the units, and I've got the nanites, and I've got the experience in the game, and I can, I've got, ships and freighters that can warp long distances to get to the planets that I need, and I have, portal locations tagged in my, terminus, and so, shipbuilding might be a fun activity for me. I also think they could tie like a reward system around it if they haven't already thought of that, as they kind of like do with your Twitch drops. And like your Twitch drops, your different expeditions can drop custom like color schematics or custom textures, or different things like that. So there's a lot of ways to jump off of this. Now, one thing I did not like about the update is that whether you can have it on a freighter or your space station, I think it should be limited to just your freighter. But I think that you could have a ship services module that you can install in your freighter that allows you to change the colors of the ships that you own. That is the one drawback of this update that I'm not the biggest fan of, is that you can't really change the color of the ship you already have, right? Well, and I'll kind of show you an example of this, but there are ships that I really like the look of, that I appreciate that I have, but maybe the color wasn't really what I was looking for, right? So what I was looking forward to is, in this update, being able to like change the color of that ship. Or sometimes I switch it up when it comes to my my character, my player model's appearance. And sometimes I might theme, all of my things based on the look of my player model, right? Just weird like little things like that. So I was really kind of hoping for that ability. I mean, I can go in here and I can change my freighter color, right? It just makes sense that if I can change a whole ass freighter and I can change its thruster colors and animations and all that, that I should also be able to do that with my ship as well, right? With my starship. But here's the idea that I had that I kind of pitched to Hello Games in an email that I sent. Was like, okay, let's take this ship for example here. It's a pretty cool ship. I've had this ship forever. I love this ship. It's great. But not a super fan of the color. Or like this one. Okay. Love the design of this hauler. Not super into the tail though. Right? But like other than that, let's so I may want to break this down, grab the wings, modify the tail. You know, I might want to rebuild this hauler. But let's say I just want to change the color. Well, notice it's authenticated here. I think it'd be really sick, right? Like if I could just go in and change the color of the ship. But a consequence of that is that I lose this authenticated badge and the value of the ship goes down, right? I find this game is too easy a lot of the time. You can go anywhere. You can drop in on your friends at any point in the galaxy. You can hop between galaxies through drop-in multiplayer. You've got the portals that can kind of take you anywhere. Like they've kind of removed the fun from exploring quite a bit to make the game like more accessible. But I think that one feature that would be really cool is just to kind of like they need to penalize us more for decisions that we make, you know. And I think that's one way to do that. It's like, okay, I want to change the color of my starship, but I'm going to lose this authenticated badge. The value of the ship is going to drop down, you know. Not necessarily like lose stats. I think maybe that's too much of a punishment, but there should be something involved with changing your ship color, right? Kind of like in real life. Like if you went and bought a Mercedes-Benz, you know, and it came with, you know, the color that it came with, and then like 3-4 years down the road, you decided to like throw a vinyl wrap on it or like, you know, change the paint color entirely. Well, when you go to sell that car, the perceived value of that car may be diminished now because you've made alterations to it, right? So maybe something like that is kind of what I'm thinking. So I, you know, that was just kind of my idea. Like the ship building and the game loop around the ship building, I think is really spot on. I think they did a good job with it, and it was really well thought out. And I can't say that about most of Hello Games updates, by the way. I've been really critical, maybe overly critical at times of my thoughts on how they kind of release like halfway thought out features. And sometimes it's like blatant. Sometimes it's like you have no future pathway for this. Like you just did this. It's really poorly thought out, and there's no way to like expand upon this. You've kind of hit a brick wall. This update, I don't view that way, and that's where I kind of my mindset goes to like, I think this is kind of a foundation. So Arsenal says, I'm all for the ship custom feats. It's something of a large chunk of the community has wanted. I'm honestly surprised it took so long to even be able to just change the color at least. I think it looks cool. But see, that's the thing, Arsenal, is you can't simply just change the color. I mean, you can if you are if it's a ship that you've custom built, and then you can assemble it and change the color, right? But like if you already have the ship, you just can't go change the color, right? I do think that's a problem. It's nice that they left exotics alone and just the core 3 ships are what you can customize. I think they'll add the other ones. You know, my theory on that is like Hello Games has kind of turned No Man's Sky into like a games as a service. So we're never going to see those large sweeping updates like we saw before. Like, you know, next, beyond. Like you're not going to see those hulking, sweeping like full galaxy resets. Because they have to string these things out to keep people interested. And because they're not charging microtransactions in DLC, the only way that they can derive additional revenue from this game is by increasing the player base. So every time they come out with one of these little updates, they can kind of advertise it. And then what that does... Hey, Stark Wolf, what's going on, dude? What it kind of does is like it gets in the press... IGN talks about it, Kotaku talks about it, PC Gamer, you know, all these like different publications talk about the updates, which draws attention to No Man's Sky. They drop a trailer, it's all over Twitter, and then they get like a little bit of a pickup. And because the game is on all platforms, right? It's on iOS, it's on PC, it's on Nintendo Switch, it's on Xbox, PlayStation, like it's on everything, right? And Steam, Tencent, it's like fucking everywhere, right? They get like a little bit of a surge, a little bit of a lift, like a little incremental sales lift. And because they're staying away from DLC and microtransactions, it's the only way they can do it. So I think that it is part of their business model to string these updates out like this. You know? So I think the big updates are kind of gone. But I think that we're going to see like Omega and then Orbital. I mean, these updates were like a month apart, you know? So I think we're going to see more of that. It's going to be like kind of like how Fortnite and all that stuff does, where it's like seasonal, you know, something to kind of get hyped, little features here and there. What I really want to mess around with is the Fleet Command Station. That's another feature that I think, okay, so when I'm talking about like, this is like the Foundation update, the fleets, dude, objectively, this feature sucked. Okay? Like, you can be a No Man's Sky White Knight fanboy. Like, I love the game. I've been playing since it launched. Right? I've got 1,300 hours just in this save. And I own the game personally on every platform it's available on to me in America. Right? So, like, I walk the walk. Okay? This feature sucked. Right? Assassin's Creed Black Flag had a better fleet command system with the mobile application and the way that you could command your fleets and you know, do battles and the rewards that you'd earn and things like that was far more comprehensive than what they offered here. But now, right, your fleet might call you for assistance. And actually, let me put some frigate fuel in and see if we can make something happen here. Alright. Bruh, back up. Okay. I forgot how to do this. Oh, I've got to do it from the main command, the bridge. Dude, I might as well just throw those stations like right near the bridge and move it from there completely, just so that it's close by. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dedicate like one whole side over here to just that. So I don't have to run across my freighter. But like, so what you would do before is like, okay, you grab a freighter or frigate, you buy it, okay, you send it off on a mission, it disappears from your visibility in space, it's off doing some shit, and then you get notified, okay, it's done, either your ships made it or they didn't, and then like you go collect your stuff, right? Now what they've done, Arsenal, is when you send your ships off, they might hit you up in your comms while you're flying around and be like, yo, man, so we captured these aggressors and we don't know what to do with them. Do we put them in prison here on the ship and you know, do we put them in a holding cell here in the ship, or do we like set them out the cargo lock, you know, jettison them into space or whatever? And then you have to like make that decision, right? Or they could be under attack. Let's say that your fleet is like ill prepared for the mission that you send them on, and they need your help. Well, now you can warp to their location, right? The game told you where they were going before, but unless you knew exactly where that location was and how to get to it, it's not like you would go there and see your frigates there. You know what I'm saying? But now they might hit you up and be like, dude, we're under attack. Like, can you come help us out? And then you and your squadron can fly over there. Right, you can warp into that system, break out, and then defend your frigates from attack. To me, that's a Foundation-like feature, where it's not a fully fleshed out idea, but I see where that goes. And most of the features they add, they're not like that at all. They're just brick walls. It's like, hey, we threw this in because it looks kind of cool, and like it doesn't go any deeper than this. And that's been the problem with No Man's Sky all along, right? Like, what was that saying they attributed to it? It's like a vast ocean, infinitely wide but shallow. You know, like the game's always needed more depth. This is that depth, right? At least that's what I think. So let's have a look at that. Let's go to our fleet here. All right, so we're awaiting orders. I forgot how to do this. Oh my gosh, this has been so long. Okay, let's run back to that terminal. One of you guys in the comments might have to tell me how to do this. I do hope that they add exotics to... Well, no, you're right. They shouldn't add exotics to shipbuilding. I agree with you there. They should leave that alone. Specifically exotics. Solar ships, they're pirate ships. You should definitely be able to build the hell out of those. So I think they should add solar ships to the next one. Yeah, I do think it's lame, Arsenal, that you can't change existing ship colors. Like I said, I think they'll add it. I sent a pretty lengthy email. I hope they see it. I hope other people have sent one in as well. But I think the way that I described to handle that, I think, let me know if you think I could have made a better suggestion with regard to that. But I think that's the best way to do it. And Stark Wolf, I think, missed this. But, like, Stark Wolf, here's the idea that I sent Hello Games about how they should handle being able to customize the color of the ships you already own. Is like you lose the authentication if you change the ship color, and the value of the trade of the ship goes down. So like, let's say the ship was worth 181 million units, but I want to make this ship like yellow. Okay, well, if I do that, I lose my authentication badge, and my ship might drop by like 94 million units in value. So that if I ever go to swap this ship, I take a penalty for having made alterations to it. And I think that's a good way to kind of, you're adding the ability to change the color of ships you already own. Not even physically customize them. I don't even need that. I just want to be able to change the color. But when I do that, I get penalized on it in some way. Not overly penalized. I don't want to lose stats on my ship just because I changed the color, but you lose your authentication badge and the trade value of the ship drops. And I think that that's like a good middle ground, and it doesn't interfere with the existing shipbuilding system too much. Okay, let's try this. Stark, do you know how to engage a fleet mission? I have completely forgotten how to utilize that feature. I hate the fleet, Stark. At least the way they are currently. What's up, Bobby Deerfield? Like I said, dude, Black Flag did it better, and that was like on PS3 and like 11, 12 years ago or something like that, dude. But like, and they combined it with a mobile app. Like, to me, that's like the pinnacle. Like, I think they killed it there, you know? I got, this is is this him? Yes. View, okay. It's taking me a minute. You guys can tell I'm so out of the loop on No Man's Sky these days. Let's do a difficult one, dude. I'm down to break a ship, man. Let's do this. I mean, obviously I'm not going to be streaming when this runs, but I mean, maybe the next time I jump on, right? Like, well, let's just go ahead and send them off. All right. What was this one? Searching for fresh promises. Trade expedition. Okay. So this is a trade heavy one. All right, so let's assign ships. I'll throw some weak ships out there. I really want to encourage me having to rescue the ships. and I'll put no combat support. All trade vessels. There we go, trade. 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 Let's throw one B class in there, why not? Trade. Okay. I can add one more? Okay, let's add one more. Alright, let's throw you out there. I'm not even going to give you upgrades. And off they go. Alright, and I'll let you guys know how that goes. I hope that they they called me for help, and I've got to go bail them out. It also, like, if you think about it, it also connects as well the your settlements, because your settlement does the same thing, right? You've got to negotiate settlement disputes and make decisions regarding your settlement. There's rewards for having a settlement. You have to go defend your settlement sometimes, right? So it's an expansion of that feature, and I think ultimately they're going to deepen the interactions with the frigates, because to me that's one of the biggest, like, wasted features of No Man's Sky. I mean, these things are legitimately sweet. You know, these ships are legitimately cool. And they do absolutely nothing. Do you think the lore of Light No Fire will be tied to No Man's Sky somehow? Man, I don't think so, if I'm being dead honest with myself. But I really hope it does. Like, imagine like a No Man's Sky expanded universe. Like, how cool would it be if No Man's Sky came out with a server feature where they kind of do like Elite or Star Citizen, where the entire universe is like a shared persistent universe? What is it? Dust 514 or whatever it's called did this a long time ago with PS3, where the EVE Online game had a couple of other console variants that those activities shared across the server had impacts on the EVE Online universe. I think it was called Dust 514 or something like that. And it was like a shooter. So, like, you know, there would be like a war happening in EVE Online in a particular star system between different, you know, corporate factions or whatever in EVE Online. But then, like, in Dust 514, you might go on that planet and it's a first-person shooter, and the outcome of what happens on that planet could be reflected in the overall EVE Online universe. So it's not like it's technically impossible to do something like that. I mean, we've seen that sort of thing before and a long time ago, you know. But dude, that would be so sick. Like, imagine the planet that Light No Fire takes place on is just out there somewhere in the No Man's Sky universe, and like you can just come across it, and maybe no one ever will, or like maybe somebody does, you know, or yeah, I don't know. I think that would be really cool. And you imagine, like, you're sitting there, like, you know, building a log cabin one day on some planet you can't leave, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, Slade Braddock and his pirate, you know, brigade show up and, like, land in starships. And, like, it's all tied. That would be so sick. Don't think it's going to happen. Lore, there might be some Easter eggs, you know? There might be some Easter eggs, but I think that Light No Fire is going to strictly be a fantasy-based RPG with no direct tie-ins to No Man's Sky. And I'm fine with that. You know, what I fear is that a lot of the issues that we have with No Man's Sky carry over into Light No Fire. You know, when Hello Games make a really small narrative effort like they did with The Last Campfire, it's really good and endearing and like wonderful, and they can do some good storytelling, and they can really establish really great lore. Like if you look at the lore of No Man's Sky as just lore, it's awesome, right? Yeah, there's no voice acting, there's no cinematic like cutscenes, there's like none of that, but just as a bit of literature, like it's really good. And in the original version of No Man's Sky, one of my favorite things to do was just like come across knowledge stones and like learn about what the hell was happening in the universe and like what took place before, and the different storylines between the Viking and the Gek and the Korvax, and Herc and the sacrifice, like all these different things. Like I love all that, love it. Hello Games can put together a good story, but they're really bad, in my opinion, at putting together complex gameplay features. And you even have like a big company like Bethesda they'll mess it up. Like I love Starfield, but there's a lot to not like about that game too. And like they know what they're doing. Starfield is the type of game they've always made. It's like their bread and butter. Like that's their style, and they struggled with that. So, I don't want the problems that we have in like No Man's Sky to carry over to Light No Fire. I hope they think everything through more. They flesh it out better. That's really what I'm wanting. Now can I just go back to that frigate? I didn't even know you could do that. Also, why was I not able to go inside the frigate? I thought you were always able to go inside those. I'm going to try that one more time. But I hope the things that they're doing with the frigate fleets, the missions, is leading to the frigates being sort of like multi-crew expedition ships. And I think that No Man's Sky, if it's going to continue down this path, I think the version that we have now needs to stop at the existing old consoles, PS4 and Xbox and Nintendo Switch, and that everything beyond that point moving forward is strictly next-gen and PC, so that it no longer holds No Man's Sky back. But I want these to be multi-crew ships. I mean, okay, they've got 4 landing pads on them, right? Why? Why does this have 4 landing pads? That's always been my question. Why? Okay. Me and my friends, we are, our squad. We land here, okay? We fill up these 4 landing pads, and then what? Then what do we do? Okay, we go inside here. Oh, I can speak to the captain. Cool. What if I could just go inside and speak to the captain? What if I am the captain? What if my buddy in my group is the captain of this vessel? Right? Why don't these doors open? Will they ever open? I think so. I think this is all leading to that. Imagine that this game evolves into an MMO. I mean, the light above it's red. You know what I mean? What if it allowed you to just go in and, doop. It opens up, there's the cockpit of the frigate, and you can take it for a spin. You can control it, you can fly it. You know, what if they break the skybox of the No Man's Sky universe, and you can just pilot this thing between the stars openly? You know, but like, obviously wishful thinking, but I really do, just based on this particular update, some of the gameplay loops that they've added, I can sense kind of where it's going. This is the most excited I've been for an update in a while, like to the point where like I actually hopped on to stream, like just to be able to talk to people about it, because nothing's really grabbed me lately for this game, but I can just see where it's going now, you know? I just had to grab that. Looked too damn good. Alright. Alright, brother. Bobby Deerfield says, when they released the Galactic Atlas website, I thought that was the beginning of mobile communication. I know, like, dude, like, what is that website? Again, this is... I always have taken issue with Hello Games on this. Sometimes they'll just release something they think is cool, and they've just not thought it all the way. I just realized this is my first time going into the new space station in the pit stain system. I love the way these new stations look. They do exactly the same amount of shit as the other stations, like did, but at least it looks a lot cooler while you're there. But yeah, Bobby, like, that website, you know, poo poo, thumbs down. Like, what does it do? You know, the website I really liked was the Pehefu Pilgrim Starpath map website. You know, back before the portals were activated. I thought the portals were going to function a lot differently than they function now, and they kind of broke the game, to be honest with you. Because you remember, if you wanted to go to the Galactic Hub before, like, you had to plot it out on the Pilgrim Starpath map, and then, like, do it yourself. You know? Some people would have to warp like 100+ times like to get where they needed to go. Like, dude, I warped like 50-60 times, and I streamed it, if you go back far enough. And I warped like 50-60 times, and that was after jumping through a black hole, like rolling the dice, and I ended up in the exact quadrant I needed to be in. You know? Because I think I was in the Delta Quadrant, and I want to say the Galactic Hub was like in Beta Quadrant or something like that. And I like did the black hole roulette, ended up in that quadrant, like 50 jumps from the hub, you know. But some people like weeks, months, like to get to it, you know. Like they documented entire journeys. The universe of No Man's Sky felt a lot bigger then, right? Because it gave you a sense of scale. I really like the colors of this station. It gave you a sense of scale that these ones, the portals broke to me. Also, do not try to use your, like, if you have one, your station override keys. It will still tell you it's a counterfeit, and it'll burn your key. You know that one, like, you legitimately earned in an expedition or whatever? You'll, like, completely lose it if you try to utilize it on this thing. So that thing they gave you like a year and a half ago, you still cannot use it. The station's sick. But yeah, this is the shipbuilding thing. I do like the new look of the appearance modules. You know, the Starship Fabricator. I think this is such a great idea. And this is the most well thought out thing from Hello Games in a long time. With the exception of you not being able to change the color of your existing starship. but to me, this is very well thought out. And then how you have to get the parts as well, I think is really well done, right? You either got to find a crash ship, repair it, and scrap it, or if you have money already, like I do, I can just buy any ship that looks or has something about it that I like, and then I can just immediately scrap it. You know, and the way that works is you come over to here, and you know, you begin your salvage analysis. The ship I have cannot be salvaged, but then it'll let you know that it, you know, you can select the parts that you want to take from it. Oh, another thing, Stark, I don't know if you played around with this. You were only able to do this before, I believe, on the Nexus and your freighter. But now you can just change your starship where it's at. So, boom. Right? So you can just swap to, in any station, you can just swap to any starship. But, like, see, my character's got, like, red highlights right now. Like, I should just be able to, like, go repaint this ship, and instead of having orange highlights, have, like, red highlights to, like, match my vibe. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really bummed that you can't do that. The red sphere in Light No Fire is really, like, it's basically the Atlas. You know? Like I said, I wish there was gonna be, but I don't think there's gonna be any direct tie-ins to the lore as far as Light No Fire goes. I do, though. I do fully expect there to be Easter eggs. One way or the other. Either Easter eggs in No Man's Sky about whatever's happening in Light No Fire, or the inverse of that. Begin salvage analysis. PvP fight on the frigates with 4 friends. Dude, I'm telling you, this update makes me think it's going there. It really does. It really makes me think it's going there. You know, and then with the thing with the pirate freighters, like, I can just see the pirate freighter pulling up on you. You know, while you're in your freighter, you take command of your vessel. Your friends hop into the different frigates, and I mean, I can see it. You know, like, we're talking a couple years away, but this is a live service game now, and I see it. You know, dude, TSS, what's up, buddy? 75 jump to find my friend's location while I was on vacation, and made my way to him using the roulette as well. Yeah, dude, black holes were unpredictable. Now the same, like, if you find a black hole, that black hole will always go to that location. It's a wormhole to that location, which to me is actually more scientifically accurate, in that, like, a wormhole, like, it would drop you off where it drops you off in terms of how it folds space. But I do prefer the older way, where you didn't know. You went into the black hole and it just spat you out where it spat you out. You know? Now, the new look of the black holes is way better now than it was then. Using Pilgrim Star Path to get to the Galactic Hub is still one of my favorite gaming achievements. Dude, it is. It is. And then we kind of had a cool thing going with the Galactic, was the combat battery or whatever in the FDI. But just, the community seemed so resistant to sort of any kind of PvP gameplay. Very strange. In a game that's so big that, like, you can just simply not encounter other players if you really wanted to, you know? Like, how is a group of people, like, doing PvP going to like, waging wars, and, like, how's that going to have any effect on anybody? But I will say, you know, Cobra had his tournaments or whatever with his, you know, PvP matches. But you mark my words, the FDI had the best arenas. The best arenas. You know, I really wish that I would have stayed around on YouTube and continued to stream. It's hard to find the time now, between work and being a husband, and my wife's in nursing school with a kid. I mean, it's just difficult, you know. But I really wish I would have stuck with that and streaming those, because some of my funnest moments in streams occurred during those PvP battles. I'm sad players will never experience that journey. Yeah, dude, new players won't. You know, they won't. But yeah, Arsenal. So you can kind of break your ship down bit by bit here. You know, now you can only pull one of these every time that you do this. So you got to think long and hard about the ship that you're going to scrap for that part. What part you like the most about it that you're going to take. You know, but very well thought out feature here from Hello Games. You know, love it. Also love the new jetpack trails. I mean, obviously that didn't come with this update, but I just marveling at its beauty just now. Just, you know, fucking shout out to that. But yeah, dude, I agree, Arsenal 100%. Like that is a. There's two feelings I will never get again in No Man's Sky. The first one is that very first moment if you've never played anything like it, right? Like prior to No Man's Sky, I never played a space game remotely like it. You know, you had your Mass Effects and they were very narrative and that's, you know, but just that feeling of like you're waking up on a planet and the way that they chose to do it, I thought was most games would have started you off in space and then you fly down to a planet and, you know, the ooh and ahs of that. But the way that Hello Games chose to do it, where you're waking up, you have no memory. This computer system is kind of like, as you're coming back to consciousness, it's like, hey, you know, you got to get your shit together, homie. You're about to die out here. You know, let's get this ship working. So you back then, depending on the planet you landed on too. I mean, all the resources you need might have been very close, but for me, it was a horrifying planet that I started on, which might be why I have an affinity to this day of like terrible planets. But like you wake up on the planet and you spend the next potentially several hours, okay, exploring it to find the things that you need to repair your starship so that you can fly, right? And at least this was my feeling. It didn't click in my head that like this was a whole planet. You know, you know it, but you don't really know it. Because up until that point, everything that I played was like, oh shit. Oh no. Nah. I'm in too fast a ship, buddy. You're not gonna get me. Either whether you're playing a sci-fi game or not, you're like, it's a level. Everything that you're playing is a level. Right? So it didn't really click in my head that like I'm on a whole ass world. You know? And dude, I was for an hour and a half like wandering around, and then I'm like, yo, this is, you know, it's taking a minute. And, you know, I get my ship going, I get really excited, and I lift off for the first time. And then you start like flying away from the planet. You know, you're realizing, oh, dude, I'm about to leave this thing. You know, and then you get like up into the upper atmosphere. This is kind of what I did. Like once I got into orbit, and you get your little badge for, you know, getting into space for the first time. I literally spun the ship down and I like looked down at the planet. You know, and just to think that like that area that I just spent the last hour and a half exploring, based on the altitude that I was at that moment, was literally like an inch on the scale of the planet, you know, and I had the whole planet. I mean, it's crazy. I'll never like get that feeling again. It was like, holy smokes. So that's one. And then the other one's getting to the Galactic Hub. Obviously, I'll never experience that again. The game is just it's not built that way anymore. But I wish it was. Dude, Magic Within, what's up, dude? Man, all the old cats in here, man. I like how it is literally what I have been saying how to do it for years. Are you talking about the ship customization? Yeah. FDI had the best arenas, dude, for sure, man. Dude, some of them are like nearby here, but like, no, 100%. The arenas were, dude, they were epic, man. Like we were making something happen that was not designed to happen that way. And like we had a rule set, and I don't know if you guys remember, there was one arena that before Captain Steve really blew up, he like hopped in the party chat and came and hang out one time and did like a battle with us. And it was like on this moon that had like low gravity, I think, but it was like an arena that was like an open air one, look almost like bleachers, you know, on the outskirts of it, and it had like a little obstacle course kind of thing. But sorry, sipping on some wine here. You can only do it with fighters, though. Got to find some good parts. No Man's Sky is one of a kind. I think I do, man. I love. Stark said, "You 100% have scar tissue with shite planets." 100%. There's something about an absolutely horrendous planet. I just love it, and I think it's because when I started out, like the very first planet I was on was like that. It was terrible. It almost killed me like the first few minutes I was on it. I always come to Fiji just to relax when I play lately. Dude, I'm so proud of this base. It's not finished, you know, but I'm very proud of it. I worked really hard on it. Love the way it turned out. And I built this for anybody that may not have been around this channel, you know, since 2017. But I built this with old base pieces. I mean, a lot of this was really difficult back then to kind of put together. You know, you can get very detailed bases now that look really, really good. But this took a significant effort to make happen. A little boat launch down there, but yeah, I mean, nothing's like glitched. I didn't glitch anything. It's all legit. But yeah, I mean, it was. These are some new pieces that I threw in here after one of the updates, but you can see the old tables and the old console, and yeah. So, this is a nice little Easter egg, because these NPCs are not this big anymore, right? Like when you go into a space station, you don't see Korvax guys this tall, okay? So back when the game didn't have a player model and you didn't have adequate scaling and perception of the world around you, you know, this is the model that was used. So this Korvax is absolutely massive. Like, such a throwback. I don't know how they haven't like adjusted that or modified that or whatever. But yeah, it's not just like floating over the water. I like literally built it on a small island. Stark, remember when this planet had blue water and was like really kind of not stormy? It was really peaceful and like lush. Yeah, man. This guy's a hoss right here, dude. Big boy. Oh yeah, Lily Hop from NMS Cafe. Made her a little special one. But yeah, the scaling was way different, man. Oh yeah, that's my terrible bite beat I made. God, it's awful. I freaking love how this turned out, dude. I haven't been here. Well, I come here periodically, but I haven't like walked through it in a minute. Where's that door? Okay. Oh, I can't access that anymore? Weird. Fiji doesn't ever need to be finished. Well, there's no way to finish it now. A lot of the parts to make everything match, you can't really even get anymore, and I'd have to like break down and redo a lot of stuff. I did try to have hidden, like, if you were to log in right now, you'd see it. But if you look closely, there's like a little patch of purple grass back there, and it's just far enough in terms of like use of distance where you can have a base computer there and it not interfere. And Hidden and I were going to build a bridge that connected in the middle from his base to my base, and where when we're logged in at the same time, it's like a big wooden causeway that you can get over to his base, and he'd build something similar off of that island over there. But yeah. A giant of a Corvax. I know, dude. Bro is jacked. Yeah, dude. I don't know, like, dude, like I said, didn't Sword have a base on this planet? He had a really good farm. I don't know if it's still there anymore. Yeah, I'll go look for it, though, real quick. But, yeah, man. It, like, these big, like, NPCs, like, I don't know how they didn't patch that out. But I don't want them to, because it's such a throwback. I've got one I want Arsenal to see. I don't think he's ever seen. I'll show him real quick. Dude, Tomcat's Falcon is still one of the best Millennium Falcons out there to this day. And the cockpit that he had was perfect. Sorry about that. Dude, my mining laser is like, dude, it's so juiced. It's so juiced. I love it. I think Arsenal is going to really like this base. If he hasn't seen it, I don't think he's seen it. So I built it kind of like in this crevice. But I just love the color gradients that happen at sunrise and sunset here. And then at nighttime I have some stuff that kind of glows. Like those plants and stuff like that. And there's some stuff out in the water that kind of glows. It's pretty sick, but it's just the construction of it. I need to decorate the inside of it. I can't bring myself to stay far away from space, even after all these years. I'm still in the neighborhood. That's what's up, dude. Yeah, same. I don't play it like I used to play it, but it's like I can't ever put it down. I jump in. I jump in every now and again. You know? Or if I'm just really trying to vibe and chill. But yeah, dude, this I love this. I love this thing, man. To me, it looks kind of like very Blade Runner, very like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just like the architecture of it. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm not, you know, some like prolific No Man's Sky builder by any means, but like I just really like what I did with this base. But I need to decorate the inside. This is about what I got. And obviously get some like lighting and stuff like that in here. There is some glitch. I haven't figured it out, and I've been trying to mess around with it for a while, but it storms inside the base, and I cannot get it to not storm. It's a roof panel, glass roof panel. I'm not going to mess with it right now. But when it rains in the base. That's another reason why I haven't really put much effort into it. Because this planet, it does have the occasional storm here. And you cannot take shelter inside the building. And I don't know why. I've tried shrinking the height of it down to like one roof level. I've got 2 roof levels with a roof in between. Like I've tried everything. But it just rains inside. Bugs the hell out of me. But I can take refuge in here at least. And then down here is safe. But this is literally 2 ceilings high, just like inside there. So this part down here, and the main building, there's no real difference with how they're constructed, right? But this one rains inside, and this part does not. And for the life of me, I need Boyd or somebody to help me out. But for the life of me, I cannot figure it out. And then here I'm thinking of making this like my trophy room. And just having like a bunch of like little statues and those little artifacts that you pick up on those exotic planets and stuff like that. And like adding some cool like lighting and stuff in here and just kind of popping this off. But from the outside, the place kicks ass. I just got a lot of work to do on the inside. Still can't steer in space, Stark Wolf. Drives me crazy. I know, Arsenal. Those cliffs are epic, man. Like I'm telling you, like it goes from like a cool blue green at sunrise, and at sunset it's like a purple, pink, orange. It's really, really cool looking, dude. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Yo, that tractor beam was mad strong, dude. Holy shit. I thought I was gonna smack into it, man. Let's see. Very cool, yeah. I've tried moving on to new titles and genres, but I always come back. Bro, I got Star Citizen, I got Elite Dangerous on PS5 and on PC. And on PC, I have the Odyssey early access alpha, whatever the fuck, that I play. Like, I've put more time into No Man's Sky than any game I own. So even though I bitch about it, and there's a lot of like aspects to it that I complain about that I find deeply irritating and annoying. I mean, just on this one save profile, dude, on this one platform, I put 1,300 hours into it. I probably got 4,000 to 5,000 hours into this game, if I'm being honest with myself. And like half of the time, I'm like bitching about shit I hate about it. But like, I can't stop playing it. I mean, there's something to it that it catches me, and I don't know if I'm still high from that very first year, or what. But and then there's this other base here that I think Arsenal you'll get a kick out of also. C-Lab 2022. Storming in the base is just Hello Games trolling you. Yeah, just accept it. I know, man. I play No Man's Sky, Rocket League, Beat Saber. Dude, Beat Saber, I had an Oculus Rift 2 at one point for a while, and I played the hell out of Beat Saber. That's such a great game. I need to get back into it because I was fucking around and losing weight on that game. Pardon the language. Alright, Starkwolf, have a good one, man. Not a fan. Yeah, the new build menu is kind of weird. I do like that you can go into like a God mode camera though. And yeah, the way that you have to power everything now can be a bit daunting, especially for older players that were not slowed down as dramatically by that feature. But yeah. But you can resize and scale things. I mean, there's definitely a lot of cool aspects to it, you know. But yeah, this is my C-Lab 2022. So that lets you know when I built it. So it's been a while. And I haven't really updated much. This is one of the few bases that I built it completely. You know, normally I start with like a project and I don't finish. I get like overwhelmed by the scale of it, and I get a lot of it looking kind of how I want, and then I just never complete it. This one is a complete work. At least that's how I feel for the time being. Just really love the atmosphere of it. I like that I dug this into the ground so you can actually see the rock is like deformed around it. I put my my power generating modules kind of like in the middle where you can't really see them from any external angle. So they're like in here. But from the outside, unless you're above it, you can't really see it. So, you know, really happy with that. This does absolutely nothing, but it just looks cool, and you can rescale it. So that part is normally a fairly small part, but I made it really big. And then I kind of just, like, I don't want to say glitched, but I, like, clipped some of that stuff into it so that it looks like it's part of, like, a thing. But they're not, you know, those are two completely separate things that are kind of all just tied together. Same with this, like, tubing that goes in and just kind of clipped into it, you know? I know, dude. I love the underwater bases. It was Marty Merrick is actually who put me onto them. He does a lot of like underwater builds, and he really kind of turned me onto the underwater building. I wasn't that into it, and I saw a couple of his that just looked really incredible, and just stuck with it. Check out my gaming rig, bro. But yeah, so that's pretty much that. I need to put a teleporter in here though, directly to the landing pad, because it'll make things easier for me. But there's just something about like swimming up to my ship from here. But yeah. Oh, and it's between two naturally formed caves, and I love these like striations on the ocean surface. So I think that that kind of adds to the look of it. But yeah, and there's a lot going on in those caves. Like that, there's a pretty sick network of cave systems that are happening there. But yeah, it's kind of like in this like hollowed out, ancient like riverbed kind of looking thing. Oh, I'll show you one other feature of the space station's arsenal if you haven't messed around with it yet. Yeah, I miss the old terrain. I hope that, well, no, they won't ever change it back. So and Dave Langer was telling me this for a while and I didn't listen. But I went back and I watched an old video that I recorded of me driving around the Roamer exocraft when during the Pathfinder update, where the terrain was like really kind of wild. And well, you're not going to grab me in here, homeboy. No. No, 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 no. There you go. Cool. But basically, the terrain was so crazy and like undulating, and I have a couple of videos that I recorded from back in like 2017 and 18 where we had the crazy terrain between Pathfinder and Atlas Rises, and you couldn't drive, dude. I mean, you spent most of your time in the air with your exocraft. I mean, you just simply couldn't drive. So I think what they did was, I think Hello Games relaxed the terrain deformation for, you know, like whatever kind of noise simulator they were using. I think that they just relaxed it so that it wasn't quite as sharp and crazy, so that you can actually like use exocrafts and shit like that, like without like, you know, doing these huge like BMX jumps every single time you went somewhere, you know. Oh, dude, this perfectly matches my guy. Oh. Except that beige. Oh, that beige gotta go. God, that beige has to go. Makes it look like a rusted fucking 97 Toyota Corolla. But yeah. Where is he? I think he's over here. So one of the cool things that they've done now is the different faction stuff. So again, it's like a Foundation update. This is the first time they've really done anything with factions in a hot minute. And I think it's going places. I think it's leading to stuff. So, like, check this out. Alright, so here is this dude. Okay? So, this is the guild merchant. Okay? I can donate to him. Right? So, I can take an item and I can donate it to him, or I can redeem these free items. So, if I have a strong relationship with this guild, okay, I can claim, like, free supplies from the guild, okay, for being a member of this guild and having, you know, whatever relationship with the guild and so on and so forth. And I can claim 2. Or donate, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But you're essentially, like, when you donate, you're bribing him, because in order to access all this other stuff, okay, my status has to be higher, associate, master, exalted. But if I donate things to him, that may change my status with the guild, and I may be able to access better rewards. Okay, so think about that. So if you're a player who you spent your whole life pissing off the Viking, okay, but you go into a Viking station and they got something you need, like a cargo bulkhead right here, right, to increase your freighter cargo, and you can't get it. You don't have a high enough rank. Well, you can kind of bribe your way into that rank, which I think is really sick. Let's see. Nope, that's not a good example. Let me find another guy. No, that won't work. It's got to be one of these vendors. Alright. So, the stronger your relationship with a particular faction improves the discount that you get on a particular item. So I get a 50% discount on this technology because of my faction standing, right? So now there's a reason for you to have, like, a better faction standing, because the better you're standing with that faction, the better your discount is on the technology, right? It's not huge, it's tiny. It's like a small step. Right, but just remember, Foundation led to Atlas, you know, Pathfinder, which led to Atlas Rises, and that eventually led to, like, Next, right? So these little features, these are well fleshed out features. So what that tells me is that they'll evolve and they'll grow. They're not brick walls like a lot of the features that No Man's Sky does, right? They'll drop an update and come up with some cool thing that's useful one time, and, like, that's it, right? But, like, no, like, this matters. So decisions that you make in the game with regard to how many faction missions that you do for, you know, one of the 3 major races, right, and how successful you are at doing that and increasing your faction rank will actually benefit you as a player, because it'll make items in those systems that are ran by those factions cheaper, right, and so on and so forth. You'll be able to claim more free rewards from, you know, whatever guild you're more strongly aligned with, if not all 3, right? So it gives you a reason to kind of pursue having that better relationship with a particular faction, which, again, small step, but it'll go a long way. Oh, that's one of my favorite cockpit types. I'm starting to get the shipbuilding bug. But all in all, even though every individual thing they added feels small, right? With this orbital update, little small things, but they all cumulatively mean something bigger to me. It's a lot more meaningful than I initially anticipated. Oh, the homies are still flying? What's up, my wingman? And I'll hop back to my freighter. But it's going a good direction, man. It really is. Little things, but it's big progress. This is one of my favorite updates in a long time, and you know you know it to be true because I'm streaming. I haven't. When's the last time I streamed No Man's Sky? Dude, it's been like a year or more, at least. You know, or like I was drunk one night and popped a stream off and like fell asleep, but that might have been Fortnite when that happened. I don't remember. Actually, that's what it was. I think it was Lego Fortnite. I think I was like, I had a few drinks and me and Hidden decided to just randomly stream Lego Fortnite, and I fell asleep during the stream. But like, you know, shit like that. Oh, bro, I wanna. Okay, I'm gonna build a few ships. Probably do it in a different save. But yeah, this update, for whatever reason, there's just a few little things about it that really get me excited for what's to come. What they lead to. Right? Now remember, they've added, again, a foundation of things to come, right? They've added better utility as it relates to totally lost my train of thought. They added better utility, like as it relates to the factions. Okay, your relationship with the factions improves pricing and rewards and all these other things. But at the same time, they added some freighter/frigate related improvements as well when you send your frigates out. One of which includes rescuing your frigate from battle in star systems, right? And you can, you know, custom build ships and all this. So like, but those two features specifically, they're leading down a path. Also, like your economy scanner now, when you're in space, your economy scanner, when you use it, you can scan for like trade events. So there might be like a high profit event happening in your particular area of the galaxy where you could take advantage of purchasing items at low cost and trading them there later or elsewhere at higher value for money. So they're adding these little things with the economy, with the factions, and everyone's talking about the shipbuilding as kind of being the biggest wow feature of the update, and it's cool, and I like it, and I'm excited for that, and a lot of people wanted that. But the smaller stuff, or the perceived smaller aspects of the update, are actually, to me, the ones to get most excited by. Because now we have a jumping off point. I can send my frigates out on a mission, but now there's consequences. I might have to directly influence whether that mission is successful. Before, you couldn't do that. You'd send them off on the mission, and they'd either make it or not. You know? But now, they might be under attack, and they may call for your assistance, and you've got to go help out your fleet. Right? So, they've increased the interaction that you have with your fleet management. And there's consequences. If you don't save your fleet, all those ships are damaged, or you might lose them. You know, you make decisions based on how you decide to play the game. Maybe you're a cutthroat pirate Slade Braddock type guy, and you'll just shoot people out the airlock. And maybe that's a decision that you make with, you've got mutiny on board. Or if you're the kind of player where you're playing more of a straight-laced, RP style, you may decide to just jail that player or that NPC, right? So they're adding more consequences. They're adding more interactions with these kind of like background elements. The shipbuilding is cool, but it's so small to me relative to the real star feature. Okay, this ship just by itself is a winner. That's what I'm talking about. See, you can still ship hunt. Dude, that's sick. What? Bruh, hey, hear me out. Hear me out, G. This S-Class or what? What's good, man? What we got here? Bunky, dude. I roll S-Class only, my G. Alright. And then one last thing before I bail out of here, because I got work in the morning. I'm sure you guys have seen this because Captain Steve showed it, and everybody watches Captain Steve. After L plays and MZK and Cobra and Bicycle Walrus kind of stopped covering the community as much, Captain Steve really took over that mantle as kind of him and Professor Cynical, they took over the No Man's Sky news mantle. And then I guess since, my channel hasn't really been as active, we were kind of, aside from streaming, we were really big with speculation videos and stuff like that. They've kind of taken over that mantle as well. Now, I will say that my speculation videos, I did put a lot of thought into the speculations that I made, most of which came true. Not because I had like any kind of particular information or whatever, but it just I get a sense for the logic that they're following, and then I can kind of predict like what's going to happen. There was even a moment in one of my videos where I described exactly how in a future update they were going to come out with a third person perspective, and that you'd have customizable player models, and like even what that menu would look like. And then like 6 months later, like next drops. Like, like you can kind of like when Hello Games does stuff, like you can kind of look at the mechanics of a feature, and then it's either a brick wall or you can add to it. And if you can add to it, they're going to, right? Because it's a live service game now. Little updates over time. Alright, so I don't know if you've played through all the quest lines, Arsenal, on here, but there was a character that you had to bring here and decide to do something with. Okay. But you either... Anyway, one of the choices that you got to make was to send him into a whole new universe iteration that was created just for him. Okay, and that if there is a place where a Light No Fire tie-in could occur, it would be from the vantage point of this particular quest line, I think. But let me see if he's still there. Why would they do that, man? Okay, look at this. You cannot open this. If you played the game, you've already beat this quest line, this has already happened. There is absolutely no reason for this asset to be in there. Let's see if I can make him more visible. Remember who that is, dude? Artemis. Bam. What's going on there, dude? He's in that chamber, bro. I don't know how well you know the lore. Okay. But you tell me what you think is going on there, buddy. He hasn't always been there, though. This was in one of the updates recently. I don't know that for sure, but he was only noticed in one of the updates recently. Now, I can imagine that somebody who has this game on PC that knows how to patch game saves, I don't know how to do that even though I have the game on PC, they can probably go back to like a previous version and figure out exactly what version he appeared in. But how wild is that, dude? Yeah, I mean, I can't get any better angle than that. But yeah, dude. Pretty crazy, eh? Yep. Oh, here's something interesting that I may not have thought of. Expedition. Fleet arrived at the system. Captain reports potential activity. Nice. So I'm hoping tomorrow or something I hear something about that fleet. But I think it would be interesting to see if, depending on the decision that a particular player made in that save regarding Artemis, if it changes whether or not he is in that. You know what I mean? Oh, I don't know if you saw this, but you don't have to create new saves for... I don't know when the last time you played was, but you don't have to create new saves for expeditions anymore. You can do them right from this inside the Nexus. So from within this save, you can start and stop expeditions whenever you want within the expedition time frame. Whenever you want. And you can pull your rewards out and everything here. So that was a really cool feature they added as well. But if you have a save, Arsenal, or you know somebody that has a save where they made the other decision as it related to Artemis, like let's say they killed him, and seeing if when they go to the Nexus, if they see Artemis in that container, in that reality generator. I haven't seen anything on that. I might have missed it in Captain Steve's breakdown, but it might be a experiment we're trying. You know? But I know that was kind of like rambling a little bit all over the place, but that, you know, that's all my thoughts in a nutshell. The shipbuilding and customization is cool to me of all of the things that they added, and there wasn't many. It wasn't like a massive update, but actually the shipbuilding and customization is getting the most attention, and it's actually the feature I care about the least. You know, the fleet management stuff, that matters to me more. The way that your relationship with the factions plays out in the you know, galactic economy, you know, to me that's more interesting. All those things are more interesting, more than because it lets me know where they're heading with all of this, you know. But yeah, I got a new save running on PC. Might need to test that theory with the Artemis path because I haven't done it yet. Did it on PS4. Yeah, bro, give that a shot. I own the game on PC too, dude. I mean, I'll fucking jump on there and help you out with it, and we'll get like in a Discord chat or something. But yeah, when I saw that on Captain Steve's video, dude, I about shit. You know, I was just like, "There's what? He's where? This whole time under our noses? Like, that's wild." But yeah. But I'm gonna skedaddle. I've got work in the morning. I'm gonna get kiddo to daycare and all that. It's already, you know, running a bit late for me. But to anybody that might be watching this for the first time, I don't know when I'll jump on here again. I always say I try to do it more often, and I always fail to do so. But if you feel inclined, you know, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Hopefully I'll be back on soon. Maybe not. I can't make any guarantees. I've been very inconsistent the last few years. But it's been fun chatting with you guys and catching up with some of you. Shout out to Arsenal and Stark Wolf and, you know, TSS that was in the chat, you know, to, you know, Magic Within, long time no see, you know, glad to see you back. Bobby Deerfield, thanks for stopping back by and checking out the channel and hanging out with me in the chat. So it's been a long time no see. Hopefully it's not so long again. But yeah, I bid you guys adieu. Until next time. See you guys later.